Okay, I'm going to do one of those things you didn't know about me kind of things. So let's get to know each other a little bit better. Okay, so I was born in Ballarat and spent the first few years in Smythesdale, which is outside of Ballarat, kind of little country place with only maybe 15 houses, I don't know. And moved around a lot as we were growing up. I was homeless at 15, as in didn't have a choice in the matter, and then moved into a girls' home and lived with girls who were suicidal and had been raped by their fathers or brothers, or in one case both. That gave me a little bit of a different perspective on my own problems in life, living with those girls. They're great girls, by the way, but just screwed up families kind of screw up your life. Tony Robbins saved my life when I was that age. I've done many different accounting courses and accounting modules inside other courses, and I still don't know how to do my tax. I speak 3 different languages terribly: Indonesian, Espanol, and Arabic. I was always a straight A student all the way up until year 10, when I started smoking and hanging out with some different crowd, and then I preferred not being at school at all and going down to electro-fun and basically having more of a life than what school was offering. Then I left school at 15 because I had a car accident. I probably would have left school anyway, so it was maybe the universe intervening and giving me a valid reason to do it. I ended up 8 months in rehab, and probably not the wisest way of getting out of school. I've lived several lifetimes in this life, so many different jobs, personalities, mindsets, crazy. I guess my first jobs were volunteering. I volunteered at Pennyweight Park, which was like a disability residency, working in an op shop, RSPCA op shop, working in a hairdressing salon, sweeping hair off the floor and selling shampoo, a service station, pumping petrol back when they used to do full service, so checking oil, water, window wipers, and giving the full service rather than people doing it themselves. I worked as a waitress and traveling salesperson. That was the worst job. Actually, this little puppy thing, I used to carry her around with me while I was doing traveling sales because it was scary. Not my cup of tea at all, but I was miles away from home and knocking on people's doors, which I didn't think was a good idea anyway. I just wanted to travel, and I thought that was a good idea, but it totally wasn't a good idea. I've had this since birth, so 39 years. Oh my God. Day after I was born, I got given this by my uncle. Yes. And I worked as a bar attendant for many years. That was my dream job when I was homeless and living in that girls' home. All I wanted to do was become a bar attendant, and I went into Centrelink, which was an employment agency at the same time back then, and told them this is my dream. I want to be a bar attendant. That was my ultimate, like, there's no possible way I could reach it, that kind of thing. And they put me into a bar course, and I had a job doing my dream job for many years before I realized that it wasn't a dream job at all. That people just get stuck in their ways and come in and say the same sob story over and over and over again, and they never move on with their life because they're drunk again, and then the next day it repeats itself. Go to bed, go to sleep, get up, drink, tell your problems to the bar attendant, eat something, sleep, over and over and over and over and over again. And I was like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. I can't listen to this same story anymore. Whereas the first couple of years I loved listening to them and helping them and talking to them. And then all of a sudden it just sort of switched and I just couldn't handle it anymore. And then I got into computers, which was also an interesting little journey there. I got a traineeship at an IT traineeship at one of the local computer sales places that make their own computers. I thought I was going to be doing something easy, but day one they had me building computers. So I built computers there until I learnt what I was doing. And then, God, this is so long ago. Oh yeah, and then I got addicted to the game Quake, Team Fortress. Lost 3 years of my life. Don't know where those 3 years went. I was in that game. My name was She Devil. I had my own all-female Quake clan, and we would kick some male butt. So 3 years of my life playing a game, and then the only places I used to go to when I was doing that. Oh, by the way, I quit my job to play the game. The only places I used to go to was once a month. I used to go to my internet provider to pay my bill, buy my groceries, buy my beer, buy my 2-minute noodles, and go home. And I didn't leave the home except for that one day when I, got paid, and I would just pay these things. So the universe intervened again, and the internet provider that I was paying each month, I was one of the only 2 people in the whole town that was on a unlimited internet. That at that time that was unheard of, and the only other person that was on unlimited from that that company was the manager of that company. So they thought that I must have known a thing or two about computers, and they offered me a job 2 hours a day at that time. And that got me out of the game. I realized that I was never going to make money out of this game, that it was, that my life had halted for a game. And, that I stepped back into society again, and then started working there full time, then started working there by myself. I was fixing computers, and they sold computers mostly, and the internet thing was another aspect of their company. Yeah, and then I sort of promoted myself to there, where they purchased things in a different town in Melbourne. So then I moved to Melbourne, and I worked as corporate computer sales, repair, mostly sales. And then I fell in love with a guy in Sydney. I moved to Sydney, and I got a job at computer sales in Adelon Computers, one of the main computer places up there. Neither of those things worked out. I also worked as a year 2000 consultant in Sydney, so that meant at the time of the millennium bug hit, so we were going around to all the different corporate places and scanning all their computers for anything that might not work once the year 2000 thing went over. So that was interesting job. But it wasn't for me. Got really, really lonely up in Sydney. The Sydney people are not for me. They weren't as friendly. No one looked you in the eye. It was just different because I'm from the country. I'm used to people being really friendly and open and not ignoring people. But yeah, Sydney people are very busy, and they're used to just getting on with their day because it's so expensive to live there, and they always got a million things going on in their mind. They just don't have time to stop and enjoy at the moment. I moved back to Melbourne. I worked as a marketing assistant at Yamaha Australia. That did my head in as well. Very good pay, extremely awesome pay, and not much to do. And that would sound like a dream job for anyone else, except at the time I really wanted, I really wanted something busy. Actually, nearly every job I want is I have to be doing something. I can't spend my life not doing anything. I did fruit picking. I spent some time fruit picking. That was awesome. Peaches, plums, nectarines, grapes, cabbages, pumpkin. Got to learn how to ride a tractor, and met a lot of fruit pickers. That was really, really fun. I really miss those days. oh yeah, spent about a few months picking broccoli. That was awesome. And I worked in a nursery for 6 months. So, seeding and planting and hoeing and, paid exercise is what I saw it as, like just the thing. And I was all toned and muscly, and I really enjoyed getting paid to exercise. Then I went back to the real life because I started getting telegrams from my mortgage. Oh yeah, I bought a house, a double-story house. That was really a highlight of my kind of life, not thinking that I would ever do that, but I got really, really lucky and got the house. And so I moved in there. While I was fruit picking, I rented it out I wanted to give back to the girls' home that looked after me. So I went into the girls' home and I said, look, I've got this house, it's fully furnished. I'm going to go fruit picking for, however long. I just want to travel. If you want to put a couple of girls in my house, and, basically I'm paying them back for looking after me, and at the same time, hopefully helping some other girls who were, homeless get their start back into life, because I felt like I was succeeding in my life. And they trashed the house. They moved their boyfriends in. They were doing drugs. I came back, there was needles on the floor, dead, rotting meat, no power. Everything had been trashed, stolen. So anything that was worth giving away, I ended up giving to the salvos. And I had to start again from scratch. So this was in the middle of my nursery stint, so I still had a job that I was committed to. So I went back to where I was working, and then had to basically come back to Ballarat and sort out this house mess. Then I worked back. I did internet help desk for many years. Then got promoted to ADSL coordinator. What else did I do? Oh, medical encryption, internet help desk. That job was pretty well paid too. The only reason I left that job is because I was also working on my own businesses at the same time as doing all this. So, getting too far in the future, but so I was working on my own businesses, and I was blogging about anything that I was learning about internet marketing. Internet marketing was pretty newish. I mean, Facebook was there, Twitter, YouTube, all that was still there. But it was still relatively new for businesses to get into that space. And so I was publishing all my findings on, what was working, what wasn't working, and all that kind of stuff, as far as affiliate marketing and niche blog creating and Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all the things that I just mentioned, and LinkedIn. And one of the internet marketers in Canada that worked for a multi-million-dollar company contacted me to try and hire me, but I had my full-time job. Like, this was just my fun. But he ended up matching my wage, my day job wage, for me to work for him. And so then I ended up having my own staff and outsources, and basically my life changed from there. I also met a guy. We moved in together, and had that drama as well. Then life took a tumble, but before that, like, what else? Who cares about the tumble stuff? I'm not going to talk about the tumble stuff in this video. I'm just going to talk about things you might not know about me. I did historical researching for the council. I own businesses, which was niche blog creating, internet marketing, WordPress related, and I've also created a whole ton of courses over the years that I've never actually tried to sell, because I've never finished any of them. I mean, I got to a point where I was really close, but never actually finished them. So I've done a whole heap of courses on natural healing, search engine optimization, training your outsourcers, virtual assistants, and YouTube marketing, Facebook marketing, LinkedIn marketing, podcasting, webinars. Basically, step-by-step script for pretty much everything that you do as an internet marketer, or if you were hired by an internet marketer, everything that you need to do. maybe I'll publish them one day or finish them one day. I don't know. I'm not really that fussed about it, because that was my life then, and this is my life now, which is more about the journey. My next big online business anyways, because I've taken some downtime, as you know if you've been following my blog. My health is the most important thing. My happiness is the most important thing. My family is the most important thing. The business is the least important thing, as in I used to live where money and becoming successful was my only, my only goal, and now it's so, I really don't care about that kind of stuff. So my next business will be sort of trying to resonate and collate, I don't know, all the people that think the same way as I do now, as soulpreneurs, higher purpose entrepreneurs, people who want to actually make a difference, have a meaningful life, leave a legacy, do something with their lives that is actually not part of this rat race crap, So there's actually not much about me now that is even closely similar, really, to the way I was even 2 years ago. Back then, I was well and truly stuck in the matrix, no helping me. I didn't know. I do know now. The universe kicked me in the ass. The nice way of saying that, I tell people that the universe clicked my reset button. But yeah, it kicked me in the ass. I lost everything: my business, my health, my relationships, my house, my car broke down. I had nothing left. My health was the most important thing though, because I couldn't move, couldn't cope with anything. I was in a very, very, very dark place, and there was no getting me out of that. It was dead, death was the next thing. And I was like, shit, I spent the last 10 years, trying to make millions of dollars for what? No one knew me anymore. I was stuck in those four walls. No one knew me. I didn't even know me. I was too busy to know me. I was too busy to have time for any of my friends or family or anything. And it was it. That was it. And I'm so glad that it all happened. I was not glad at the time, but it gave me, new perspective on the whole life thing, life force, energy, and everything in between. I mean, this is what I want to focus on now. Nothing else really matters. Is that trying to help other people understand what I've learnt so far, but there's so much more that I'm yet to learn. But if I can help people see this different way of looking at the world would be just absolutely so much better, and their lives will be so much better, because it is insanely different than the way that I used to live. Oh my God. And that is no way of living, just focusing on money and things like that. Oh my God. And so I'm really glad that happened. I cured myself of a chronic disease, and actually quite a few different diseases that I didn't even think was possible, through my belief and intentions and change of life. I'm still on that journey. I'm not 100% yet, but oh my God, I'm still better than most of the people I see every single day, through the choices that I've made. So even people who don't even realize they're sick, I believe that I'm healthier than them at the moment, but I've still got a long way to go. I still poison myself, and I don't exercise. There's multiple things that I could be doing to increase that and actually become a better example for people to look at and be inspired by. I live in my van. This is my home. I can't really move you around now. I mean, I've got heaps of videos on that anyway, and I might even put this video on that channel. Who knows? I've got quite a few YouTube channels. I keep them separate. I keep them separate so that I can speak my mind no matter what I'm feeling like at the moment, and just keep the topics sort of together so that, if people are interested in the van life, They get a channel that just has van life stuff. If they're interested in my natural healing stuff, they just get a channel about the natural healing stuff. But there is a crossover of the things that I do that is the Journey to a Better Life thing, which the van dwelling videos are on the Journey to a Better Life channel. So most likely this is probably going to go on the Journey to a Better Life channel. But I do have marketing channels and things like that. I teach challenges and things like that. So there is other things that you probably won't see until I've, opened up something where I see how they connect, so that it, can be good for you to learn. I don't know. Currently I live in Melbourne, and I want to live in the Sunshine Coast. Sunshine Coast is sort of a health hub. It's got the ocean, it's got the forest, it's also got modern amenities, things that resonate with me. They haven't fluoridated the water there, which is just awesome. Yoga on the beach and meditation and conscious cinema and a lot of health courses and permaculture and self-sustainability and things like that. There's just a lot of more people that resonate with where I'm heading in my life. So to take myself, you are the sum of the people that you hang around with, and to just take myself to that next level of where I want to go with my life. I just really want to be around that energy, the same energy, so that I can move forward. Because at the moment I work in a retail job, 120 people, very miserable with their lives, and it's I've learned a lot from working there. I won't say that I haven't, nothing to do with retail, but as far as human connection and I wasn't in a good place when I was still, coughing up blood and unable to breathe and unable to talk, and I had lost a little bit of weight by then, but I, still had more to go. But yeah, when I first started dealing with negative energies all at once, when I had been, a hermit for the past 2 years before that, while I was working on myself, not communicating with anyone, pretty much not communicating with anyone in person for even maybe the last 10 years, except for, this small kind of group. So I was already not, like this, how I can't think of what I'm going to say. This is me, because I haven't had that human interaction with people, that one-on-one real interaction, because I'd lived my life in this computer where, I was an internet marketer. Everything was done with typing. I could think about it. I could revise it. I could edit it. This is still a journey for me to try and learn how to communicate with people when I'm talking. Listen how many ums. I reckon it's over 100 already in this video. And I want to say again. So this workplace has taught me a lot, because dealing with negative energies when I was just, I've managed to hone those skills that I didn't have when I first started. So it's been good to sort of now put myself into different situations like that and not take it on, not let them affect my energy. So that, and it's also still sometimes a learning curve, but most of the time I don't really care for the whole don't get involved in all the little dramas that go on in a big company. I no longer live by a blueprint. I don't have my life all mapped out and planned. I live in the moment, this moment. And then I still have ideas about what I want to do. And, this feels right for me. This feels like the right direction for me. This is, I feel that way. And I just take baby steps towards what I want, rather than the way that I used to be, which was like write down all their lists and get everything done before I could sleep, and stay up and, only get 4 hours sleep and then start again. And it's just insane. My life was just completing too much at once and trying to get to the end result straight away. Like, I want to be this, and then straight away I want to achieve it by the next day. It's like I would do as much as physically, as much as I humanly can to make sure that this happened, and try and force my way through life. And now I just, I'm just so much happier just living in the now, like believing that there's a reason why I'm still here in Melbourne when I want to be in the Sunshine Coast. You know, that I can spend more time with my nephews while they're growing up, and my sister, who's I just adore, and my family, you know, and I can take the time to set up the van correctly and sort out my stuff and things like there's no reason to quickly just rush things. Like I want to be there, but I don't have to be there overnight. I don't have to live by a blueprint of this. And I don't know if I'm going to live in the van or if I'm going to just use it as a room or just use it as my way of downsizing my life to just the most important things. And I don't know. And I like that I don't know. I like that I haven't, you know, it's really hard to have a conversation with someone about that because they, you know, the way that everyone else lives is that, you know, they've got their plans and they go through the plans and they have to explain their plans to everybody. And me, I sort of give them this spiel, you know. It's like, I don't know, and I don't care. I'm happy now. I'm happy and content right now. And I'm still moving towards something. I'm still going after my goals. I'm just not trying to make things happen magically without the money to do so, you know. Yeah, so that's another difference between me and back then. All right, it looks like my battery's going flat, both in the van and the laptop. So I will continue this another night. So maybe I'll publish what I've done so far, and hopefully I'll be better at it another night. And hopefully I can do it tomorrow during the day when I don't need lights and power. Okay, bye.